Hi guys, in this video I want to try and make my own bezels / frame for resin using my laser engraver. I cut this outline / bezel out on my Sculptfun S10. It's 3mm MDF, which I think is 1/8 of an inch for you USAers. Correct me if I'm wrong. I created this outline in Lightburn using a vector image I got ages ago, so forgive me, I can't find the source. So I'm going to pretty it up using embossing powders. If you've never used these before, you need embossing ink like I have here, which is basically a glue ink pad. The embossing powder sticks to your stamped image or area, and you use a heat gun to melt the powder. Gives you this really nice effect. But don't worry, I'll list everything I use in this video in the description below. Be sure to check it out. And while you're doing so, kindly poke that like button if you enjoy this video and you find it useful. Maybe even consider a sub if you're not watching me already. Very encouraging things are subs. And comments. I always appreciate advice or suggestions. I'm using a gold embossing powder. It looks quite dull and dark in powder form, but watch when I melt it. It transforms. I love it. My advice here would be to get a good heat gun, maybe from Hobbycraft or The Range if you're from the UK. Mine is a cheap pre-owned heat gun from eBay and I have to use it quite close to melt the powder. I don't think it's got great power in it, so I have to use it quite close. But it works, so I can't complain. Sorry for the overexposed footage, the sun likes to foil my plans, and I didn't notice how bright it was during recording. So I've sped this bit up as I'm doing exactly the same to the other side. It's just a bright mess, but since this will be a dangly ornament / bezel, I want both sides looking pretty and non-MDF-y. Now I stick it to some resin tape. Is it called resin tape? I'll call it resin tape. And thanks to Steve McDonald's suggestion, I've put it on a flat, easily movable surface. I've pressed down really well to secure the snowflake because I don't want any resin spills. I've got some little clean pudding pots I want to mix different colours in, and I put my nitrile gloves on. Little tip for those of us with sweaty hands, I have hyperhidrosis. I sweat regardless of the temperature, and getting hands in these gloves is so hard sometimes. But talcum powder is a lifesaver. It gives you just enough time to shove your hands in those gloves. So yes, there you go. So I've mixed up some of my Let's Resin epoxy resin and I'm pouring it carefully down the side of these pots to avoid bubbles. In one I add iridescent purple mica powder in my usual tap it out chaotic method. Sorry it's almost off screen, I seem to be really good at doing that. But at least I show you the money shot right here. Look at that purple. I love iridescent colour. Look at it shimmer. In the other pot, I add these multicoloured flakes. I got these with one of the epoxy resin purchases. I can't remember if it was with J Diction or Let's Resin, but I've had them for some time now. I thought they looked quite snowflake appropriate, so in they went. So in went the purple iridescent first, and then I used a little tool to drop the chunky flakes in those tight spaces. In my head they were supposed to fill the edges in the outer area of the snowflakes and the purple mica would sit in the middle. So I tried to maneuver everything like that, which didn't exactly go to plan, but I still love the outcome, so keep watching for it. A toothpick is such a handy tool, you just have to be careful you don't scratch your mould surface or anything you're using with it. I also use my heat gun to warm and thin the resin, so it definitely makes it into those tight areas. When I've filled that little bezel up as far as I can and I've poked it about a bit more, I'll leave it like that and I'll let it cure. And this is my makeshift curing area. The room has underfloor heating, so the paneling can take the heat, but I used to have this set up on a baking rack, but I could just never get it level. It was really frustrating. I usually put something over the curing resin so dust or bits don't settle into it, but yes, this is a Let's Resin curing mat, and while it does cure, it's not very flat itself. I use the molds as weights to keep the mat as flat as possible, along with the silicone mat on top, because that's quite flimsy and it buckles. But I got this with a voucher and a promotional code, so I can't complain too much. Okay, complaining over. This is now cured the next day. Let's take the tape off and have a look at it. I fought with it a little. Hopefully you can't tell, but my hands are sweating in this clip, so I have to dry them off so I don't get oily sweat all over my new cured bezel / ornament thing. And there we go. I got some slight overspill or underspill, but I honestly didn't notice until later on. It's more noticeable on camera than it is in person. But yes, I'm well happy with how this turned out. I'm trying to catch the sunlight that's shining in segments through my window. It really lights up those flakes and that iridescent mica. Wow, that looks really cool. And it looks kind of frosty, like snow, like a snowflake would be. Apart from the colours, but that's artistic license. What do you guys think? Do you think this turned out alright? Do you like the gold embossing edging with the iridescent transparent mica in the middle? Do you think that makes a good bezel / ornament? I think it's been upgraded from bezel now. Bezels are smaller, aren't they? We'll call it an ornament. Now, this video was going to include a mention to my 1,000 follower giveaway. A few months ago, I hit 1,000 subscribers and I was floored. Honestly, thank you guys so much. But then I took on a couple of part-time jobs and I had to pretty much neglect this channel. So my giveaway was put on hold too. Now I'm able to revive my craft channel. I want to say thank you to those of you who've got me this far. This snowflake was going to be part of that prize, but the voice in my head was wondering if it was good enough. Would anyone want it? Alongside the slate coasters that won the prize poll some months ago in my community tab. If you want to have a look, you'll have to go back a couple of posts to see it. So, question, if this snowflake was part of the prize, would you be interested in the giveaway? Let me know in the comments. I really want to do a giveaway, but my brain gives me a lot of uncertainty and questions, and I question myself. So let me know what you think, and if you have any suggestions. I do still have the poll up if you want to find that in my community tab. Let me know. And with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope it was inspiring. I love inspiring other crafters. Let me know if you want to do something similar. Always show me. I love to see. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time.